And then I'm going to go ahead and share the agenda for this month's meeting. If everyone could please keep yourself muted until it's time for you to present. If you're a presenter at the end of each presentation, we'll open it up for Q&A. Sorry, can you all see the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll open up after each presentation for questions and answers, and then if time allows for it, we'll open it up at the end for everybody to share about your organization, and we call that the 1-minute roundups. And so we'll just get straight into it. So I don't think Dr. Thomas is here yet.
She just logged on.
Oh, okay. So let me stop sharing so I can see everybody. We have more folks coming. Oh, there you are. Okay. Hello. All right. So you're first on the agenda, Dr. Thomas. If you're ready to take it away, it's all yours. Uh-oh. I can't hear you. No.
What about now?
Yes. Woohoo.
Okay, there we go.
And
I
you?
changed speakers, so now you're really, really quiet.
Oh, okay. But we can hear you. And so you can share your screen. If you have a presentation that you would like to share with everyone, feel free to go ahead and share your screen.
I do not have a presentation. This was kind of last minute for me. But Life Recovery Center, you just want to know we are an outpatient treatment. We offer IoT, which is 3-hour groups 3 times a week, IOP, outpatient and aftercare services. We also have classes for anger management, batters intervention groups. Life Recovery Center itself has been around for over 20 years. Dr. Davis actually started the Life Recovery Center a little over 20 years ago. So we've been around for a while. And then we just recently merged with MHAI. And it's really exciting. We're starting the IoT program at the downtown location in January, on January 6th, which is very exciting. We have in-person and online services. So we try, and we also do the mental health counseling. We have art therapists. EMDR is available. So we have a lot of different services available. And our goal is to make things accessible to anybody. We have a couple of grants that we can bill under for people that don't have insurance yet and just can't afford services. We also have sorry, somebody just put a chat in and it distracted me. We also have like a sliding scale. We have a recovery coach that helps people get hooked up with insurance. So we're trying to make this available for anybody that needs services. Anybody have any questions? I don't know what all you want to know.
Yeah, so sorry about that. And I know that you're filling in for Dr. Davis today, so thank you for that. So I think more importantly, what people usually want to know is where are the locations at? Do you only cover the counties in which those locations are? Do you provide statewide services, telehealth? Are there special populations and special groups that you offer? Payment is usually one people want to know. Do you provide adolescent services? So things like that.
We do. We have 2 locations. We have one location is at 6350 North Shadeland. And then we have the downtown location right behind the MHAI building on Delaware. At the downtown location, we do have services for adolescents. We have individual counseling available for them. We are working on developing the adolescent outpatient substance use program, but it's not quite there yet. We have adult services available at both locations. Specialized services, it's the main focus is substance use, but we do have individual therapists for mental health. We do a lot of trauma. So we have most of our therapists are trained in more than one specific trauma modality. EMDR is probably one of our biggest ones um, because the EMDR is so amazing. Um, we do accept Medicaid. We are working on getting credentialed for private insurance, but we accept Medicaid. We have contracts with DCS. We have the sliding fee scale. We have a VOCA grant. We use the HAP money. So there's monies available to help people that don't have the money. The majority of the substance use clients that we serve are criminal justice involved. And also the anger management and our batterers intervention program. Most of them are ordered through probation or through a court. Mental health services, most of those clients are self-referred. So we have a plethora of populations that we serve. We are right now doing an outreach group at Warren High School for kids there that have gotten in trouble, caught with a vape or caught with weed or whatever. We're going there, providing groups for them at the school. So we have a wide range of population that we serve. Did I miss anything?
If you could touch on telehealth, so do you all provide telehealth services to people outside
Yes,
of Marion County as well?
yes. We do have telehealth services for all of our programs. We do serve, for instance, I do batterers intervention classes. I've got guys all over Indiana. Um, Brown County, Clark County. I had one guy that was in Gary, Indiana. So that's the great thing with telehealth is they don't have to live close enough to drive here. We can still help them with telehealth, which is fabulous. And like I said, all of our services are available through telehealth.
Someone's asking, so this is a presentation on Life Recovery Center. And I put in there in the chat a link to the website for folks if you want to go to their website and just check out all the different services and programs they offer. And then I also put in the chat the contacts for all the folks that are presenting today during the meeting. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Thomas? Yeah, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for your understanding for my tardiness. I was on another call and I got on as quickly as I could, so thank you. And hi, Dr. Thomas. So this is kind of roundabout. I got on there on the last, but I heard you mentioned Warren Central, right? And that you have groups there. And I don't know if this is relative or not, or how old you facilitate these groups. But I have a dear friend of mine who works as a essentially in special ed at Longfellow and Northwest, which is junior highs through IPS. But some of these 7th and 8th graders have pretty heavy potential substance use disorder and some mental health concerns. And what she sees a lot is they'll tolerate for a while, and then there's another school that they go to. So do you have anything with any of the junior highs, the 7th and 8th grade schools throughout IPS, or is this only up into the high school area in education?
Currently, we do not have anything in the junior highs, but that's part of what we're working with to grow our services.
Yes, ma'am.
I just came on with MHAI 3 months ago.
Oh.
So we're kind of revamping some things and, finding our directions, which the junior highs are on our radar. If you have contacts or someone that, we could talk to, if you can get that to me, I'd be more than happy to talk to them.
I would be more than happy to do an introductory email between the two of you because she works directly with these young students on a one-on-one basis inside the school. So she gets to know them intimately and what's going on at home and what they're doing. And if, for instance, they just had a gal who was in the principal's office for something and she fired up a marijuana joint while there was nobody else in that backside, right?
Yeah,
She she needs some help, you know.
sure.
So I'd be happy to do that if you would like. I'll do an introductory email for the two of you.
That'd be awesome.
Yes,
Perfect.
ma'am. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your time and welcome aboard
Thank you. Appreciate it.
for sure.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions for Dr. Thomas about Life Recovery Center? And again, I put the link to the website in the chat and then a PDF that has everybody's email so you can follow up with them if you think of something later. Just send Dr. Thomas an email directly. And thank you for your time and jumping on this meeting and presenting and sharing. I know it was kind of last minute, so we do appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks for letting me.
All right, and our next presenter is Adam Teal, the Director of Outreach with Hope Academy Recovery High School. Go ahead, Adam, if you're ready.
Hey everybody. Um, Thank you all so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. So yeah, my name is Adam Teal. I serve as the Director of Outreach for Hope Academy, as Heather just said, and I am not going to bore anybody with a slide deck today, but when I get done talking, I will put in the chat. I know Heather hasn't in the PDF, but I will drop my email, our website, all that good stuff. And so if anybody ever wants to connect or learn more, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to anybody. But Hope Academy, again, we are Indiana's only certified recovery high school. We've been around for a while. We were founded in 2006, so next year is pretty exciting because it's going to mark 20 years, which is absolutely insane to think about. Um, And when we started, we had a long-standing partnership with Fairbanks, so we were housed there for many, many, many years. And about 4 years ago, we branched out on our own and have our own facility now, which has really helped us to expand and grow and serve different populations we were not able to serve when we were at Fairbanks. But the whole goal of Hope Academy, right, is to be able to give a high school experience to students struggling with substance use disorder, right? So, like, one of the prerequisites to come to Hope Academy is you have to have some underlining substance use disorder, right? Whether it is really minor or major, right? And we want to walk alongside these students as they are already navigating an extremely difficult an extremely difficult time in their life, let alone also coping with the struggles of substance use disorder, right? I mean, we look at the numbers. So there's like 1.3 million youths in the United States that deal with substance use disorder somehow, and there's only again, we're Indiana's only recovery high school, right? So the need is there. And that was the whole reason Hope was created, right? Our executive director, who founded this school, worked in treatment, worked in adolescent treatment, and she saw this gap between, uh, the education system and youth with substance use disorder and the rate of relapse when students come to treatment and then go back to their traditional high school and all that good stuff. So um but so I would say that our biggest where we get most of our students, so right now we're sitting at about 45 students, and where we get most of our students are from traditional high schools for students that are on the expulsion track, right? So they are being caught vaping in the bathroom one too many times or X, Y, and Z. And it's sad, right? Because most traditional high schools do not have the resources and the means to like really help kids with these problems. So what happens is they just get expelled, they get kicked out, right? And that's where I really try to find our sweet spot, right? Is like, hey, we have this schooling option over here, so let's do everything we can to make sure students are not being kicked out of school, right? Let's make sure that no school is being missed. Um, and so when students come to Hope Academy, everything is in person. I mean, like when you walk in here, it's going to look very much so like a traditional high school. All of our classes are in person. All of our, blockers in the hallway, cafeteria, the whole nine, which I really, really like. I feel like when parents come here when they're initially coming in for like their new student interview, that makes them feel better about Hope Academy, right? Like, oh, this looks like a real high school. It doesn't look like some, because unfortunately stigma still exists, right? And so the more normal and traditional we look, I think really, really benefits us when we are welcoming new students into the building. Um, but the way that process works, so students will come to us and they will do an interview. And as long as there's some underlying substance use disorder, and all goes well on both ends. Our enrollment happens really quick, usually within like 3 to 5 days. And we are a charter school, but we are a public charter, so we are tuition free. So there is no cost to the families for sending their students to Hope Academy. But when students do get enrolled, every student is assigned a individual peer recovery coach that they do individual work with, they do group work with. So we, along with the teachers and the admin team, we have a whole recovery team as well. So each student has a personalized recovery plan that, kind of ebbs and flows throughout the year, right? Like obviously we know that, recovery and the road to recovery looks different for everybody and it's not a fluid thing, right? And so, based on the regular drug screens, based on the regular, attendance or grades or anything like that, kind of will depict what that student's recovery plan will look like at that time. Um, and our recovery team is what makes all the difference, right? So our all of our peer recovery coaches have lived experience and they, you know, um, walk the walk and talk the talk. And so, they're the ones really building the relationships with our students. And so that means, when kids are getting in trouble, when there's, when we have to call home, when we have to do anything like that, it's not the teachers, it's not the, principals, it's not anything like that who are, uh, doing that with the kids. It's always the coaches because they're the ones that have the real relationships with the students, and that stuff is really, really cool to see because they do such a good job. Um, but with that, we have a occupational therapist and a licensed mental health therapist on staff as well, which has been a really, really impactful thing. So that is not something every student is required to do, but every student has access to them, and some are required to do it on a referral base, whether that is referred from us or from DCS or probation or anything like that. But we do have those services here as well, which is super, super impactful. We are able to accept any students with, IEPs or 504s or anything like that. Um, and we have, a lot of student involvement as well, which is super cool. So we have, student council programs, art programs, music programs, all of these things, which is super awesome to see when, I would guess that, most of the students that we have would never be involved in any sort of extracurricular activity at their traditional high school. And then, walking around the building when the music program is going on or anything like that and seeing the room like completely full, it's like, okay, like maybe we're doing our jobs here. Like this is what it's supposed to look like, which feels really, really good. Um, And yeah, so most of our students end up graduating with us. We offer Core 40 and academic honors diplomas, and we have really, really good partnerships with like especially UIndy, which is right behind our campus. So even some of our seniors take dual credit classes over there, and uh, and yeah. So before I continue on, does anybody have any questions or anything? Another thing I will say as well, and Patrick, you were kind of talking about this. So we, at the end of January, are officially rolling out our middle school program, which is super, super exciting. So one Saturday a month, middle school age students will be able to come into Hope Academy and spend a day with our recovery team doing, prevention work, substance abuse education in like a very lighthearted, fun middle school type way, right? Which we're super, super excited about. So, right now I'm in the process of, setting up schools with all the paperwork and all that stuff to be able to refer their students here. But that is, Patrick, if you have any questions about that or want to get connected, let me know. And I would be happy to send you all the official information, documentation, all that stuff around that. But that does officially start at the end of January, which is super exciting. And oh, this is another extremely important thing to offer. We also have transportation, which makes a huge, huge difference as well. So.
Thank you, Adam. Does anybody have any questions for Adam? I feel like you covered quite a bit, so I don't think there wasn't anything that I have questions about. Anybody have additional questions? Did drop the link to the website in the chat, and then you also have Adam's email address on that PDF I dropped earlier in the chat. So feel free to follow up with him if something jumps out at you later and you're like, oh, I should have asked that, or I want to know about that.
Oh, there was one question, other age limits. So, I mean, obviously, high school age, right? So we're 9 through 12. Um, and it gets a little tricky with, uh, so we do accept students that like haven't been in school for a while because that's I have been in the recovery field for quite some time, but the school setting is new to me. So when I first started here and would hear stories about, we're getting a new student who hasn't been in school since seventh grade, I'm like, oh my God, like, what are we doing wrong? Like, how do things like that even happen? But anyways, so once they get past, like, especially with like, kids that are aged like seniors and above, and you get to like the 20, 21, 22 range, it just depends because then it gets tricky, right? Because, we have, it gets tricky with, having somebody on campus who is a student who is in their 20s, and then we also have students that are 13 years old, right? So, that is a case by case thing. And so if you have somebody in mind or anything like that, I'll put all my information in the chat and reach out to me, and I would love to talk more about that. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate your time and presenting to everyone. Next on the agenda is Michael Pirtle, who is the Executive Director of Recovery Happens RCO.
Thanks, everyone. Mine will probably be quite shorter and less exciting. I do have about 2 or 3 slides to share. Let me see if I can share them. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So we're Recovery Happens of Northwest Indiana. We're fairly new recovery community organization up in the Lake County area. And our main focus, of course, is to educate, advocate, and participate in any type of recovery activities that goes on in this area. There, before I get to the next slides, I do have a few testimonies for Recovery Happens because I think it's really neat. Um, our main focus is providing peer services in this area. However, we did get a phone call from a parent a couple of days ago. It was like Thursday of last week. Her daughter was 11 years old. She reported to be suicidal to her guidance counselor. For some reason, they called us. We did have a licensed mental health therapist as a part of the Recovery Happens board. And so he agreed to meet with the young lady on Sunday afternoon. He was able to assess her, work with her, write a letter to the school board because they wasn't going to allow her to come back to school until she had seen a professional. And he was able to provide that service to that parent um, at no cost to that parent, and yet provided that service. And so I'm really happy about that piece of having that type of impact. Also, there is a person on our board that was a former councilman. And so as a result of that relationship, we was able to get food and we was able to feed 150 residents at Lake County Community Corrections at no cost to them and provide a holiday meal and talk to and encourage them for the holidays, which I thought that was really neat. And so those relationships that we are establishing, we had a relationship and we do have a relationship with other entities that we do, like the Recovery Cafe, but we're putting Recovery Happens on the map now as well, and I'm really pleased with that. The next thing I'd like to show on the slide is this relationship that we have established with HealthLink, which is a federally qualified health center up in the area. And they're with the state opioid response, mobile response teams here in the area, and we're collaborating with them to provide peer services to work alongside them of serving the people here in Lake County that may be struggling with mental health and substance use disorder issues. And some things that Recovery Happens will provide to HealthLink is we have now taken over the leadership of the TI Ross for our area. And so we are actually bringing in all of the stakeholders from mental health, corrections, social services, all of the entities that will serve the people in Lake County. We are now in charge of that. We had a holiday meal at Innsbrook Country Club. We brought in about 40 people. Sonny Lou from TechServe did a presentation. It was a great buy-in and great feedback. And so we're putting together a great team of collaborating and working together to serve our needed population in Lake County. And I'm really proud of that. We, as Recovery Happens, we're also providing administrative support and strategy discussions of how to increase services for our BIPOC community here in the area. And that's going really well. And then we'll also, as needed, provide peer support services to identify referrals. And so we'll be working with HealthLink. They'll refer and warm handoffs of people that need peer services, as well as we'll be referring people to them. And then we'll also actively participate in outreach services. The things that I'm really happy about, because this RCO is really new, and all of the funds that we have so far is because they've been personally donated. We don't have a lot of funds, but they're actually going to give IRCO $830 a month for doing the TI Ross services here. So we're increasing our level of sustainability. Holla. Um, and so I'm really happy about that. And then HealthLink, as we're providing peer services for anyone that need medical, dental, any type of somatic issues going on, if they need mental health or substance use assistance, we have warm handoffs and relationships because we don't provide professional services. We only provide peer services, but we got that relationship where they can get both based on their need. And I'm really happy about that. Um, Also, I didn't put it in the slide, but we have a relationship with the Geminus Corporation here where they'll at times have families within the DCS system, and if the parents need peer support or mentoring, they have an MOU with Recovery Happens where we can provide mentoring, parental education, crisis intervention, and homemaking. And for the mentoring, they'll reimburse Recovery Happens $45 an hour. The parenting will be reimbursed $40 an hour. If there's any crisis intervention, we'll be reimbursed $63.40 an hour. If our peers have to go in and do any homemaking assistance, that would be $40 an hour. That will be reimbursed to Recovery Happens for providing those peer services. And so we're fairly new, but I think our foundation has been established to continue to serve this area effectively. And that's it. That's all I have to share. How do I take this off? Okay. Okay. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Pastor, for the presentation and the work that you're doing. I'm excited for your RCO. I know you all are one of the newly or newer certified RCO. So to see where you're at now and the partnerships and the funding that you're going to be able to bring in to help sustain your peer staff and your RCO is pretty awesome. And I know it's all because of the great work that you already do in the county. So
Thanks.
anybody have any questions for Pastor Pirtle? I did drop a link in the chat that for the website where you can then access the Recovery Happens Facebook page. If you want to connect with them there or learn more about the RCO.
Pastor Pirtle, I did have a question. This is Chris Ann. Are services free for the individuals directly looking for the peer support to the RCO, not with the MOUs with the other organizations, but are those free? And what does a referral look like? Does that go directly to your contact, or do you have a form? What's the best way to get in touch with your RCO as a warm handoff?
Yes. At this point, the services are definitely free. At some point, once I get more clarity from DMHA on what's billable and not billable, I go in and set up that WITS account and be able to do some type of reimbursable for service provided. But for the clients themselves, recoveries themselves, the services are definitely free. And they can get in contact with us actually through the same number I have for, or should I say, I used to have for the Liberty House Recovery Cafe. I'm no longer on that staff. I had to resign that staff because it's now a Recovery Community Center. And so I couldn't really be a part of that, but that number would still work. And if you like that number, I can put it in the chat.
That'd be great. Thank you.
But yeah, the services are free.
Glad that you said that, Pastor Pirtle. Okay. As a certified RCO and all that. So, okay. Any other questions for Pastor Pirtle? If not, we'll go ahead and open it up. Thank you, Pastor, for taking time out of your busy schedule to share information about your RCO. We appreciate that. So we can open it up. This is the part of the meeting where we call it the 1-minute roundups. This is your opportunity to share information about your organization, the services you provide, where you're located, and keep it to 1 minute, please, if you can. And then you can drop links to your contact information or your websites as you are sharing. So you can raise your virtual hand, unmute yourself. Okay, Kat, go ahead.
Guys, thanks to all the presenters. Love Hope Academy, Adam. I'm a graduate from there in 2011. So just wanted to introduce myself. So my name's Kat Stewart. I am the Recovery Resident Support Manager with NR. New to this position as of November. So super excited to meet everyone, learn more about the different organizations, and yeah, reach out if I can help at all. So thanks.
Thank you, Kat. Anybody else want to share anything about what you have going on right now with your organization or new things that you're rolling out with in the new year? I know some organizations are doing fundraisers early next year, just different things like that. Your opportunity to share. Okay, Chris Ann, go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, just quick introduction. Thank you for this platform and the ability to meet virtually right before the holidays. My name's Chris Ann. I work with Thrive RCO. I'm the program manager, so I deal with back end things, grant reporting and things like that. We serve rolling out 12 counties, so we added Johnson and Morgan. We're going to start navigating that space to see what that looks like, the collaborations, the communities, how we can really best serve the population because we're not the experts there. We're really good and well-rounded and well-oiled machine down here in our 10 counties that we've always served. But yeah, direct peer-to-peer services. This is substance use disorder, substance misuse, and mental health, and people experiencing houselessness. We get to have the opportunity to have an IRACS team in the Clark County Jail that works at full capacity. We have an outreach team and we have our community coaches. So we operate at 30 right now. Looking forward to the new year, adding in some 211 changes and some overnights and yeah, just really looking for empowerment and support and collaboration as we network through these new times and getting to make those connections. So hopefully I'll get to visit some people in that northern area and see people in skin and happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris Ann. And if you haven't yet, if you would just put your contact information in the chat so folks can follow up with you. All right, Deja, you're next.
Hey everybody, my name is DJ. I am the Recovery Support Specialist Supervisor for the state of Indiana with Groups Recover Together. If you're not familiar with Groups, we are a MAP program offering mostly virtual care. The team of people that I lead are recovery support specialists. They're community-based. So our hope is to really get into the community more, kind of learning about different recovery events or different kind of partnerships that we can make in the communities. We're in over 30 offices across the state. And so my team covers all of those offices. I'm going to share my information in the chat. And if there's anything that comes up that you think would be really great for us to partner on, please shoot me an email or a text message. I'd be happy to collaborate for sure. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you, and sorry for mispronunciation in your first name there. Mispronouncing.
That's okay. That's okay.
Probably happens all the time. I'm sorry.
It does.
Okay. Anybody else want to share? Okay. Well, so our next meeting is scheduled for, if I can get it up, I close it out to share it in the chat, the agenda. Our next meeting is scheduled for January 16th, so same time, same link. If you would like to be a presenter, just send Rebecca Gorell an email and we'll add you to the agenda. If not for the January meeting, but a meeting later in next year. So thank you all for joining us. I hope that you enjoy the holidays and stay warm. And if you need anything, just reach out to us.
Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays.